Shopify has recently announced the newer customer event sections, and this is going to replace the older method which we were using to create the data layer event. To add the customer pixel, all you have to do is go to the settings, which is on the bottom left corner of your Shopify store, and scroll down to the customer event sections. This is where we are going to trigger the event. On the top, you can see a button which says add custom pixel. So let's click on that. And since this one is for Meta, let's rename it as Meta ViewContent data layer and hit add pixel. Now these settings are really important, so make sure that the permissions are set to not required and data sale does not qualify as data sale. Great. Now if you go to the description of this video, you will find a link to a blog post. And if you will scroll this blog post, you will find a code snippet somewhere there. Let's copy the code snippet, go back to our Shopify store and paste it right here. Great. Now this code snippet is going to trigger the view item event for our Shopify store. The only thing we have to update there is the Google Tag Manager ID. You can get the Google Tag Manager ID from your Google Tag Manager account. Just click on the ID on the top and select the ending portion. Let's replace this one with the example and hit paste. And now you can scroll all the way up and click on save and then click on connect. Once this pixel has been successfully connected on your website, we are going to test whether the view item event is actually working or not. To test this, let's go back to the Shopify store and go to the front end of the store. Once we are on the page, let's just go to any of the product pages because that's where the view content event is going to fire. I'm just going to randomly select one of the products and then right click on the page to go to the inspect section. Once we are on the inspect section, I am going to switch to this console tab because this is where we will be seeing the view item list event. So once we have switched to the console, we can see that the view item event is successfully firing. It also has an e-commerce object which contains the item's ID, item name, and all the good stuff that we need. It also has the value as well as the currency parameter. Great, we are done with the second step. The third step is configuring the tags and the triggers inside Google Tag Manager container. So let's go back to our Google Tag Manager account so that we can create all the necessary things that we need for this one. Let's start by creating the templates that we need. So let's go to the templates. The first template we need for this video is the Facebook Pixel template that was created originally by Simo but recently purchased by Facebook Pixel. So let's go to the search gallery and search for that tag. The name of the tag is Facebook Pixel by Facebook Archive Team. Now let's just search for Facebook Pixel and you can see the tag template right there. Let's click on add to workspace and add it to the existing workspace. The next thing we need is a variable template. You can click on new and the link of this variable can also be found in the description of this video. Click on the three dots and click on import and then select the file that you have just downloaded. It is called e-commerce parameter generator TPL and then click on save changes. Great, we have all the things that we need under the template tags. So now let's just go to the variables to create all the variables that we need for this project. The first variable we need is the Facebook Pixel ID because we are going to use that in our tags. So let's go to the Facebook Events Manager and then copy the ID right here. Let's go back to our Google Tag Manager container and create the variable. Since this is a constant ID, which means it's not going to change its value, let's rename it as Meta Pixel ID and create a constant variable out of that and hit save changes. The next variable we need is the meta array for the e-commerce parameter generator. So let's click on new and select this e-commerce parameter generator that we just imported 2 minutes ago. The only thing we have to select is meta e-commerce parameter and let's rename it as e-commerce parameter generator for meta and hit save changes. Great, now we have to create a data layer event variable that will capture the items array. So let's click on variables and go to the data layer variable and create an e-commerce.items array. Let's rename this as DLV e-commerce.items. We need this variable so we will be able to create the e-commerce parameters for Facebook. So now let's just click on new and select that e-commerce parameter generator. Inside the e-commerce object, let's just select the parameter that we have just created and keep it to meta e-commerce parameter. Let's rename this as EPG meta and click on save changes. Now we can go to the trigger section to create all the triggers that we need. Since the page view event is going to fire on all pages, we don't need to create an all pages trigger, but the view item event is going to trigger on a custom event. So let's create that custom event for view_item. Let's rename this as view_item and hit save changes. Now let's just switch to tags and click on new. First, let's just configure the page view event. For that, the trigger is going to be all pages, and for the tag, let's just import the Facebook Pixel ID that we have saved in the variable section. Let's click on Save Changes and rename this as Meta Configuration Tag and hit Save. Great. The next thing we have to do is create a tag that will track that event for view item. So for the trigger, we are going to select the view item trigger, and for the tags, we are going to select the Facebook pixel tag. Let's add the Facebook pixel ID. And under the standards event, we are going to select view content. Scroll down to the object properties, and here we are going to load the properties from a variable that we just created. Let's rename this one as Meta View Content and hit Save Changes. Perfect, we are done with the third step. Unfortunately, we won't be able to test this using the preview window, so we have to submit the changes. And let's click on the Publish button. Great, now the changes has been published. Now let's just verify if everything is working alright. Let's go to the front end of the website. And as soon as I go to the page, you can see that using the Facebook Pixel Helper extension that the page view event is working fine. Now let's just go to any of the product pages so we can see if the view item event is also working fine. Once you click on the Facebook Pixel Helper extension again, you can see that the view content item is firing, and it is also tracking the content IDs, content name, and it also has the content array along with the value and the currency of the parameter. We can also verify the same information using the event manager, and let's just go to the test event center and clear the previous events. Let's open the website again, and now let's just go to any of the product pages. Once we are any of the product pages, I will go back to the events manager to see how the events are looking right now. So you can see that the event manager has tracked this event, which has the contents array, contents name, content IDs, and all the things that we need for an e-commerce event parameter. Now, if you want to see how I configured the view category event on all of those clients, you can click this video right here.